So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Jenny again. Hi, how are you? We are speaking on email marketing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. So let's get to it.
We wanted to start with a couple facts just so that you guys get how important email is, at least from our perspective. I don't know if you know this, but email is literally the number one app on every device. If you think about it, that's probably where you spend a lot of time. Most people, first thing they do in the morning is check their email. I know lots of people do it before they even get out of bed.
Who's an offender? Who checks their email before getting out of bed? Right.
And it's literally the biggest thing on the internet, right? Like we can stack up all the other different platforms that are out there against each other, and we've tried to draw it to scale. The emails sent, we actually had to shrink it down, so it's 3 times that big if we were actually to do it at scale. It's literally the biggest thing on the internet. And readership times, right? The amount of time that people will give you to spend with your brand compared to other online mediums that we've been able to track, as well as standard mediums that we all know, email ranks pretty high up there, right? I would love to tell my advertisers that buy from us, hey, look, your ads are going to be in front of people for as long as a television commercial. That's a mark of value that they totally understand. And when you think about it from a publisher perspective or from a marketing copywriter perspective, how much time are they going to spend with it? Email's literally the one thing that people are going to spend a lot of time with. And a big part of that is that if they don't open it, they don't spend any time. But if they do, they've already decided to read it. That's going to come back up later when we talk about subject lines. And just to kind of drive the piece home, right? How much time do people spend with email? 18 minutes of every hour that they're on their phone or their device, right, on their computer, right? Almost a third of that, 28.3% of all time that we spend on the internet, we're with email. It's the biggest thing on the internet. 95% of brands use it for CRM or content delivery because it's so effective. Everybody in here has an email program, yes? Or wants to improve it. Maybe even get one started.
So let's talk about Ragan's email marketing. I started at Ragan in December 1st, 2010, so 3 years ago, almost to the dot. And we were very bullet point happy with our promos. You can see on the bottom left corner there, we have lots of bullet points. And I came in and I was charged with being more creative with our emails. Let's get away from the bullet points. Let's start testing. Let's test with colors. Let's test with mastheads. How many of you, do a variety of email marketing? How many put mastheads in their emails? Mastheads, colored, different colors with your copy. Who does images, like the bottom right-hand corner? Anyone testing with those? Perfect. So I was charged with getting more creative, thinking outside the box. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
What is Live Intent? Just so you guys know who I am and what we do. We're real-time email. We're the largest display network in advertising and email. We also use our product for clients that have a CRM business. And we work with a bunch of really great brands. You can see them behind there. And what we think of as real-time is using machine learning to make decisions so that the right ad or the right piece of content gets in front of the right person at the right time on the right device. So that's just kind of my perspective and where I'm coming from as we go through this.
Here's what our daily Ezine looked like in March 2011. How many of you send out daily Ezines, newsletters? Perfect. We've got a lot of content, and this is a very, very busy Ezine. And we wanted to get closer to our customers, we really wanted to show them the face of our editorial team. So we put their headshots, their mug shots right there on the right-hand side. And we also had, one ad, our Ragan Select membership ad. But as you can see, it's below the fold. So what did we do? Quick fix. We took out all those headshots, all our beautiful editorials faces, and we simplified it. We put a button. Click here to check out check out the Ragan.com editorial staff. So now we've taken our ad, our money, put it above the fold, made it easier to click. And we saw an increase, around 200% increase in clicks on that ad. This is what our daily Ezine looks like today. It just looks so much prettier. What do you guys think? Does this look better than this? Yes. And so what we have been doing, our director of sales actually has been monetizing our Ezine even further by having, you know, our sponsors, obviously Polite Mail, and oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I don't know who that ad is below that. But so Polite Mail, what they do, and it's very low overhead for us, they will pay us to just put their ads on. Anyone have ads on their Ezines right now? Perfect. And you guys are, you know, can attest to this, that it is really low overhead, low cost, and that's just money that's, you know, in the door. And what we found is that our lead generation, we're getting tons of leads for them, and we're also still maintaining our high click rates for that Ragan Select ad that now is, you know, pushed down below the fold, but we're still seeing really good click rates for that. Now, our editorial, we have so much editorial content that we decided, instead of sending in addition to sending a digest of all of the content we have on our site, we also pick the featured article of the day, and we send out this daily extra. And so what we've done is we've created, you know, I've talked about snackable content. We've created this one article that we want our readers to really focus on. If they're going to read one article that day, you've got to check out this one. So we thought, let's slap an ad on it and see what happens. And what happened was, you know, we've been doing this for about a year now. We put this ad on the bottom of the extra email. Every day it goes out. And we have seen, we've gotten $12,000 in revenue just from this one. And then $6,000 in revenue from our Ragan extra, our Ragan.com extra. And
just from a marketing perspective, I'm curious, that gets your brand back in front of your customers, your list, your readers, your subscribers, an extra time a day without overburdening them with, here's a whole nother Ezine, right? Here's a whole nother digest. How many of you could send out 2 emails a day if you did a second one that was just a little snippet, just that one piece that they had to get? And would that help you as a marketer drive home that brand awareness, that loyalty, that, oh wow, these people bring a lot of value to my life. Not only do they send me everything if I want to read it, but they also send me that one little thing that I have to read. I think that's brilliant. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about other ways that you might kind of enhance that email and Ezine program. A lot of what we do is real-time optimization for advertisers as well as content, you know. And if there was a way for you to do, hey, wow, this person's on an iPhone versus on their desktop, right? Or this person is, it's 8 a.m. there, so let's send them a message that's got something with coffee in it, right? Whereas if it's 7 p.m., let's send them the message that's got to do with dinner and what they're going to do this evening. We look at real-time optimization. We also look at bringing in third-party data from a targeting perspective. So where it applies most, I think, for SIPA members is we use Bizzo, for example, which is really great business-to-business information, right? I can target content based on somebody's in the HR department versus somebody's in the finance department. And that becomes really powerful for our publishers and our advertisers when they're looking at, how can I make sure I get the right ad in front of the right person at the right time? It's really hard to do if you don't have all of this information. And how many of you have registration information from people that's like 5 years old and you have no idea if it's still accurate, right? People move, they change jobs, they do all those things, and yet if somebody moved from Chicago to Texas, you might show them a lawnmower ad instead of a snowblower ad. Lastly, we also do custom audience advertising for our clients as well as we use it ourselves. Anybody in the room heard of custom audience? Okay. So Facebook made a big splash with this about a year ago. And what it is it's the ability for you as a marketer to take your subscriber list, make it secure, and upload it to a third party, Live Intent, Facebook, Twitter, I think Amazon's doing it pretty soon, so that all the segmentation that we do as email marketers, we can actually use in other mediums, the display mediums specifically, or in the Facebook feeds, right? So think of using custom audience as a way to talk to your audience wherever they happen to be, because I bet your open rates are in the 5 to 30% range. There's 70% of people who just aren't reading your emails every day. But how do you get in front of them? How do you keep them aware of what you're doing? How do you tell them to come buy this product if they become one of those who doesn't open every time? So let me explain custom audience really quickly. An email address goes through an algorithm and comes out as a hash. In our case, he happens to be Hashman. So So what's an MD5 hash, max at live intent? When you hash it, it looks like a 32-character string that doesn't make any sense to anybody, but it's always that same string every time you hash it. So if I've got max at live intent on my subscriber list, and Jenny's got max at live intent on her subscriber list, and we want to share information without actually sharing the addresses, we could compare hashes. Is everybody with me so far? Anybody not? Okay, good. So using that hash, right, and using live intent or Facebook or Twitter, you could do things like, if you were Coca-Cola, My Coke Rewards, this is a member who's got a ton of points and they need to spend them. So get them to do something right now. Reactivation is you haven't seen them in a while. They're not paying attention to you. How do you get them interested? Do a giveaway, do a sponsorship, some sort of thing. And maybe they've actually unsubscribed or said, you know what, I'm really not interested in the My Coke Rewards program anymore. But you know who they are. You've got them in your CRM. Do something like show them a different brand. In your case, as a marketer, and this would be using email totally different than you've thought about it in the past, do advertising in the Wall Street Journal or the weather.com using your list and only advertise to the people that you know are what they say they are. Or have your sales director go sell that audience. It's your audience. You own it. You can sell it a lot higher than anybody else can because you know what the value is. And this would be a way to use custom audience, and you can do this not just with live intent, but also with others like Facebook and Twitter. Might be a revenue stream, might be a marketing stream. And so I challenge you to take custom audience back to your company and say, is there a way we can make more value out of this asset that we've got called our subscriber lists? Anybody interested in taking custom audience back to their company? Let me know. Get my email address at the end. I can give you all the resources we've got. Think about it this way. It's a beacon for Hashman, right? It's making sure that that ad gets seen by the right person at the right time. It can also be used for content. And it might look like this for you guys that didn't make it to this show. For your members that didn't, we might show them something that says, hey, you missed your Justice League meeting, right? Super targeted. When Live Intent does our own marketing for trade shows, in many cases, we'll take our entire CRM database. There's about 70,000 prospects and customers in there. We'll load it up into Live Intent as a targeting parameter. So this is our list. And then we'll geo-target it. I was in Phoenix on Monday. We'll geo-target it to the DMA that we're in. So we had a campaign that ran Sunday through Wednesday in Phoenix, geo-targeted to these 70,000 potential customers. So the only people saw it were people at that show, relatively. I had 3 people walk up to me and say, John, why is Live Intent ads in every email I've opened over the last 3 days? I'm like, because I want you to come talk to me. I think we spent maybe $8 on the campaign, just because the reach wasn't that big, right? It was 70,000 people geo-targeted, but there was only 400 attendees total. Super, super lightning targeted way to kind of get the right ad in front of the right person at the right time. And at the end of the day, this is the kind of results that we get for all of our clients across our entire ad exchange. We see click-through rates of 0.27% on average. Our niche publishers, folks that look like you guys, might have a 4 or 5% click-through rate because the ad is perfectly targeted through that niche targeting. And at the same time, we still rotate in ads like American Express Open because they're a small business owner, right? Or Capital One because we know that they own a business with less than 50 people. Going back to all of that, using all this third-party data that we have, really making that audience even more valuable than they were. Let's talk about subject lines, Jenny.
Let's talk about subject lines. So the purpose of the subject line is to sell the email, not the product. Your subject line is, the intent of the subject line is to get the open. So you don't want to be putting a ton of stuff in your subject line, and we're going to go into what's worked for us. You want to justify the send, and you want to connect to a problem of your customers with your subject line.
And keep in mind that only a fraction of emails are read.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How many of you open your inbox, look at it, see all the stuff, and decide to read a couple pieces of email, not all of it? Yep. Your customers do the same thing every day.
So what do I mean by justify the send? You want to either give requested information to your customer, you want to fulfill some sort of customer service need they have, you want to address a problem with an order that they have, you want to give a unique opportunity in the form of a premium, certainly discount or a giveaway, something like that, affiliate connection, and you want to address their previous behaviors. Who in here knows about shopping cart abandonment? Who has browsed Amazon.com, you put not a vacuum, let's say, you put something in your cart and you forget about it, and not 24 hours later, you get an email, you're forgetting something. It's creepy, right? Big Brother. I'm trying so hard to fight against the Big Brother, but that's how we are. That's kind of the future of email marketing. You need to really look at your customers' behavior, not only their buying behavior, but their interest as well. Connecting to a problem. Your customers, just like all of us in the room, you always ask, is this email relevant? Is it important? Is it urgent? If it's not, I'm not going to open it. So you really need to be addressing these problems in your subject lines. So let's do a test. Subject line test. This is actually a Marketing Sherpa case study, and Marketing Sherpa is an excellent resource. I highly recommend it if you're even, wanting to, start thinking about email analytics, and they do fantastic case studies. So they had a client, and their controlled subject line was see Dynamics GP in the cloud. They had a 14% open rate. And then you can see that, test number 1, have you seen Dynamics GP 2013 in the cloud? Your competitors have. Number 2, get into the cloud with ease. Number 3, GP 2013 in the cloud. 5 things you need to know. Now we're gonna see which one of these did the best and why.
So this is the fun part. You all get to vote.
All right, so you've had a chance to look at these subject lines. Who thinks number 1 did the best? Raise your hand.
You're basing it just on the open rate.
Correct.
Just the open rate.
Just remember the purpose of a subject line is to get an open. You just want them to open your email. Number
Votes
one.
for test number 1? 1. Got it. Votes for test number 2? About 25%, maybe 30. And test number 3? So about 40 to 50%. Interesting.
All right, so let's see the results. Ooh, number 2, 8%.
It's actually the worst performer.
Right.
The group went with the second best performer.
And number 1.
We got one winner. She gets a raise. Whoever.
So test number 1 almost doubled the open rate. Why is that? Any guesses? Your competitors. Okay. Anyone else? Emotion. There's fear. Yes, fear that your competitors have seen something that you haven't. What about the question? What do you guys think about the question that, is being asked in the subject line? That can be very effective too, right? How many of you used questions in your subject lines? And how do they do? Pretty good? Yeah?
So I have a different question. How many of you spend more than 20 minutes on headlines? Or do you just crank them out, right? Everybody heard of BuzzFeed, right? The website with the cat pictures. I mean, it is what it is, right? They spend hours and hours getting the right headlines because that's everything in getting your interest. I've been doing email marketing for about 15 years now, and my experience has always been if you've got a good question and you can ask it in 3 words, you win. If it takes more than that, you got to make them really good words. Competitors. Your competitors have the insinuation that if you don't pay attention, you're going to lose out. Big deal. Huge deal for everyone in here. I know I would pay attention to that. Crap, my competitors have got a leg up on me again.
So let's look at our subject lines. So we're dealing with we're fighting the good fight against email overload. But here are some really good subject lines that we had from just last month. Our best subject line, everyone's busy saying thanks this week. How about a congratulations? We sent it the Monday before Thanksgiving, and we saw, hey, people are actually relating to that subject line. Global Communications Summit, February 27th through 28th in Belgium. Now, this is something that I actually did not think was going to do well because we were cramming so much information in that subject line, but for our European readers, they actually, did see value in that. And I do want to, take a step back and talk about, what I mentioned earlier about subject line. You really don't want to cram everything in. Think about a subject line as you're out somewhere and you're in the dating scene, let's say, and you see somebody who's a little attractive, or you're thinking about making a move. You're not going to go up and give your whole life story, right? You're going to go up, hi, how are you? My name is, and then you're going to slowly, you're going to get them interested, get them to open, and then tell them your life story if you are into that sort of thing. So our number 3 best subject line of November, brand journalism is the new PR. Brand journalism is such a hot topic for our readers, and a statement like that is bold enough that they're going, okay, well, tell me more. Why? Why is this? And you can see that, you can read the rest. But what is interesting about this in our top 10 list, our number 4 subject line is also our number 10 subject line. And so what we do is, we're a big component or a big fan of recycling stuff, recycling content. If it works, let's run it again. How many of you rerun email promos because they did well? And so we ran the subject line again, and it dropped off 0.5%, but it still did pretty well. So we said, okay, well, let's run with it.
A little tip too is if you guys find subject lines like this that are winning for you, it never hurts to send the exact same email to everybody who didn't open 24 hours later.
Yep.
Because they just didn't open. They didn't say I don't like you and get out of my life, right? They just didn't open. But you've got a winning subject line that 8% of your audience, 9% of your audience did pay attention to. There's a good chance another 7 to 8% will. If you take out those folks that have already opened and just send it again to those same folks, you'll get double the open rates. Marketing Sherpa's probably got 10 case studies of doing that. So to keep that in mind, just like Jenny did. And you can do it right away. You don't have to wait a week. You can literally do it right away. It's just gotten out of their inbox. They don't see it anymore. I also want to point out the global communications in Belgium. So if you're sending email to people who don't speak English in first language, don't use American idioms, right? You could do that. You could go with anything that might pique our interest with American idioms and American language. But if you're doing a European email to people who don't speak English first language, just go with standard English. It works a lot better. They get it. They get what they need. They feel respected.
So now let's look at the 10 worst subject lines of November. Your chance to save $300 on our engagement summit is ending in 24 hours. What's wrong with this subject line? Well,
it's got everything in it.
It's got everything in it, and we didn't lead with the offer. We didn't make it offer heavy in the beginning, and that's a huge thing for us. We've realized that because, especially with people opening their emails on their mobile devices, they're only seeing the first few words of. Sometimes they're only seeing the first few words of your subject line. So you really got to make it very offer heavy in the beginning, and then kind of taper off into the rest of your information. Measure your employee comms better with Holt's e-learning module. Who in this room knows who Holt's is? So Shell Holtz, he's huge with our internal communicators, our corporate communicators. And so we thought this was going to be a great subject line for us. But the problem is that we didn't lead with Holtz. We didn't lead with that big name like we did with our number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 best subject line, the sales lion.
Y'all see that? How here they led with the lead, and on the next page they buried the lead?
Yep. And what is something else you notice about our worst performing subject lines of last month? Anything? Exclamation points?
Anybody else see the big bang on there? Right? So that's what people see when they see an exclamation point. Bang!
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Question, yes.
Got that as a case
Yeah.
study in a minute, don't you?
You know what?
Really
I don't.
close to it?
Yeah, very close to it. But I'd love to get your opinions. How would you change the top subject line? Anyone? Oh man, you guys need more coffee. So if I were going to change it, I would say 24 hours left. Save $300 on our engagement summit, or take out your chance to and just save $300 and offer ends in 24 hours, offer ends tomorrow, or offer ends tomorrow. There's so many ways you can do it, but I would lead with that. I would take out your chance to, because it just, it takes up space.
So if the content is same,
Mm-hmm.
changing the subject line. So first time you send the email, there's no traction.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys tried just changing the subject line, resending the same email?
Yes.
So, it's a really good book called Landing Page Optimization that a guy named Tim Ash wrote. We're not covering that here today, but it talks about testing. And the one thing I learned about email with testing is you can't use consecutive sends and compare them. Any number of things happen, and so Monday and Thursday this week are totally different. You can, however, use your ESP to send a multi-part test where you've got an A, a B, and a C test. And some ESPs are even really cool where you can load in your test of A, B, and C, and it'll send out 20% and wait for the rest of it for 30 minutes. And then it'll figure out which one was the best out of those three, and then send the rest of them with that best subject line. That's kind of a common feature of good ESPs these days. And so the answer, I think, would be write 3 or 4. I have no idea which one's going to win. I'm a sales guy, right? I'm not a copywriter who's done this for a living and spends hours on my headlines. But I could pick 3 or 4 and test it, and the system will learn it. In the live intent world, we use what's called machine learning, where we're actually testing thousands of different creatives all the time so we can get that right ad for the right person at the right time.
Yeah, great question. We actually do a lot of A/B testing, which I'm going to get into, where we do, we split our list in half and we send 2 different subject lines or 2 different, email copies. So we change up the variable. Do you have a question?
The last name of the author? Your book?
Tim Ash, his name is Ash. And he's a bald-headed guy. Looks like Seth Godin, only shorter. And in that book, specifically, chapter 4 is all about the math behind statistical significance. And I'm an ag major, so it really helped me actually learn some math. Yeah.
So let's get into A/B testing. So we tested, our very basic first test was a long email versus a short email. And I mentioned earlier that, when I came in, a lot of our emails looked, and, we do have a fair amount of our emails that are long because some of our customers really want all that information. And we're seeing click-through rates that are still pretty good. So we still, we still test with these. But we have a long email, and then we have a really short email. Same lead. Hey, you, the hardworking one, at your desk writing copy after everyone else has gone home, tweeting from bed late at night, answering emails from the breakfast table. So we've got that same lead. We took out the Dear Communicator. How many of you, are Dear Communicator happy, or Dear Customer, Dear so-and-so? We are too. So but we took that out. Let's get to the point. So which one of these do you think did better in terms of revenue?
Votes for the long. Votes for the short. The room's pretty consistent on the short there.
Yep, 250% increase in the ROI.
Is that ROI, revenue?
Revenue, dollars. Short. Mm-hmm.
Then on sort of on the same subject, on your daily newsletter,
Uh-huh.
do you find that the click-through rate of the stories further down on the page dropped dramatically?
Correct. The question is about the click-through rate on our daily Ezine, the articles that are below the fold. Absolutely. And that's why we created the extra email that has just one article to focus on. But not that the articles at the bottom of the list don't get clicked, they just don't get clicked that often. But the point is also just to get them to come to our landing page or our website, and then they can click around from there.
My question is it dramatically?
Oh.
By the end of the second article, it just drops like a rock?
After 4, we see a big drop off. Yeah.
And I can echo, in our marketing emails that we send out, we see the same challenge. We've actually found that if you put an animated GIF in that 3rd or 4th spot, it grabs people's intention, and they go down a little bit further. So we've started putting animated GIFs halfway down the email, and it's literally doubled our click-through rate on that stuff below the fold.
Interesting.
Does that suggest to you that if you are going to use long copy, that you get the whole message of the first paragraph?
Well, the point of the email is to get that click, right? So yes, you want to have a link somewhere towards the top, especially with, the increase of mobile device viewing. So you want to get that above the fold, as we say.
And I think I'm going to take a different angle at the question, which is the goal of this email is to sell something, right? It's very clear. This is a sales message. Please buy something or you're going to not get promoted. The Ezine is more content marketing, very soft sell, right? Hey, we're your source for all the stuff that you need. And so if you're doing a sales message, you should have one place that you click to throughout the message. If you put multiple links, fine, make them all the same click. And that way you get people to your landing page, so that then they can go through the conversion process. They don't get stuck somewhere. They don't go to your About Us page, which has had absolutely no monetary value for you when it comes to selling something, right?
Right.
Sales message, one place that you click to, and you can do the whole thing as a big click-through. Like you could actually make that an image, and the whole thing's now a click-through. I wouldn't do that because people won't be able to read it. But you could. Whereas on the Ezine, it's a lot softer sell, and it's a different goal. It's more about providing enough information, and I would take the indication that those last 5 or 6 articles, you could honestly probably drop them. It's just work that you're doing and not getting a whole lot of value out of it.
Absolutely. So let's go to the next test. Text email. We're so bullet point happy. Text email versus an actual graphic inside the email. Which one of these do you think did better? Text? Anyone?
All the bullets on the left or the big image on the right? Okay, most of you didn't even vote. So let's go back.
Text? Text.
Who thinks this one won?
Yeah.
15, 20%. Who thinks this one won? The rest. Okay.
Text promo did significantly better than our graphic promo.
Like,
why? Oh, sorry?
Didn't you mention that the graphic one got like 0 sales? Like it didn't just perform badly. It didn't perform at all.
Well, actually, no, that's actually another one.
Is that the
But
next one?
yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. So we did get orders from this, but it dramatically dropped off. Question?
Promo, was it that graphic, the entire email graphic, or was
Mhm.
the graphic just the header up top?
It was a JPEG that was a clickable JPEG. And so what's the problem with that? Sorry?
Deliverability distinctly different? Is that,
Was the deliverability different?
is your deliverability way better on the text?
Oh, actually, no, they were about the same. Yeah, with the split test, yeah, the deliverability numbers were around the same, because I looked at that too, and I was like, maybe we just weren't getting into inboxes. But what are some other problems with the JPEG?
Image not loading?
Yes, image not loading. And how many of you have, the majority of customers giving their business emails, right? We have a lot of corporate email addresses versus Gmail or, other personal accounts. So yeah, our images weren't loading.
Keep in mind that preview pane in Outlook is like this big, right? It's smaller than your phone.
Question?
And the same is true with HTML versus JPEG. If you have a link that says open, another window with a lot of people are
Oh, I see. No, the question is about, do we see problems with our links not loading, right? Or with HTML? Right. We don't, but we test on Outlook, all the different versions of Outlook. We test on mobile, and we haven't seen that. Has anyone had that problem where with your HTML file, the URL's not loading, or it, pops up a browser issue?
I can tell you with BlackBerry going away effectively, you don't have to build text-only emails anymore.
Right.
You really used to have to in the corporate world because that's what BlackBerry users could read. That's really become less of an issue in the last, let's call it year. On top of that, if you do have Gmail addresses, for example, Google just released a update where they're now caching all images, and they've gotten rid of the load images button, so everything just kind of loads in Gmail. So Gmail's not the enemy anymore. At least I used to think they were, because they would, make it really hard for us to get the message in front of the user. They've completely switched gears, and I think that'll be a really great thing for marketers too.
Absolutely. So then we tested our content, our offer. Discount, so a monetary discount versus a free gift. How many of you guys have done free gifts, like a love gift or, great. So our product, Ragan Training Membership, price tag of $11.95. Subject line, email A, subject line, our CEO will ship you an iPad mini if you become a Ragan training member today. The offer was a free iPad mini for US customers only, with an $11.95 purchase. Versus B, subject line, our CEO is giving you a big discount offer, $300 discount.
We're going to vote again?
Yes, we're gonna, oops, oh, really, Jenny? All right, so now you
Who
know.
wants to vote on the left?
So now you know. And this is actually the one that John was referring to earlier. Nobody wanted the $300 discount. Everybody wanted the iPad. So, so we took that information and we did a subject line test with that exact email, to the point of the gentleman in the back of the room. We took that same email and we did a split test, subject line versus A versus subject line B. A was, our CEO will ship you an iPad mini if you become a Ragan training member today. B, complimentary iPad mini. So putting our offer in the very first, in the front end of the subject line, just for becoming a Ragan training member.
And a bit of a hard sell versus a soft sell, right?
Mm-hmm. So which do you think did better?
Who's going to vote for the left? And for the right? It's about half and half.
Mm-hmm. You're all winners. They both did exactly the same. We got 4 orders from each email promotion. How many of you subject line test? How many of you are going to start subject line testing? Great. It's super easy. You just, cut your list in half. Start simple from there. So the dreaded unsubscribe. How many of you have gotten fed up with your email inbox and just got unsubscribe happy? Just said, get me off this list. Anyone? Yes. So our customers do that too.
And I just want to interject here. I ran a company called Unsub Central a couple years ago, and we did the unsubscribe management process for about 400 different businesses. Clients with 40 million names on their unsubscribe list, right? I mean, big enterprise clients that had lots of problems with unsubscribe. And we used to tell them, don't worry so much about an unsubscribe. They're not saying, I hate you. They're just saying, my inbox is full. I can't take too much. You got to figure out how to get back to them, but welcome the unsubscribe. And if you can take that unsubscribe and do something with it, it can be really valuable. And so pay attention, because Jenny's got some really good stuff here.
Mm-hmm. So when people opt out, we are trying to save them, right? We try to save them from opting out. We want to, what we did was, so how many of you have an opt-out strategy where you just let them unsubscribe from everything with one click? Mm-hmm. One click unsubscribe, they don't get any emails from you. We used to have that too. And we decided we want to try to save some of those people. So we started this new campaign, which I'm going to show you in a second. We want to save customers, we want to get valuable consumption information, and we want to re-engage those customers. So we created this page. So we wanted to make it a little comical, right? Not on the level of Groupon where, you try to unsubscribe and they show you a whole video, because nobody's got time for that. But we said, dope, we don't want to lose you. We hate to see you go. Can we send you fewer emails? And so what we do is we auto-populate anyone who wants to unsubscribe from our promotional emails with that calendar of Ragan events twice per month. So instead of getting 2 emails per day, they're going to get 2 emails per month from us. Or please unsubscribe me from all Ragan Communications emails. And what we did was, for anyone who opted to be unsubscribed from everything, we asked them, can you please tell us why you're leaving? And what we decided was to put all of the different Ragan, product logos at the top to remind them that we're giving them content, that we are giving them valuable information. So, the content of the emails wasn't relevant to me. I get too many emails from Ragan Communications, or I get too many emails overall. And then we had an other just to give, the customer a forum to give us feedback. And what we found was that, so almost 30% of our customers who were unsubscribing from everything said the content of the emails wasn't relevant to me. About 35% said I get too many emails from Ragan. And then almost 60% said I just get too many emails overall. And what I saw in this data is that it isn't us, you know, it is like what John said, people are just so email overloaded. So what we also found, these are the reasons that our customers unsubscribe from our emails. Enough people filled in that field and gave us information. So 54% of them were just changing jobs. Only 3% said it was irrelevant content, which was great, you know, great news for me. 11% complained a little bit. 4% were on maternity leave and said, hey, you know, contact me in 9 months. All right, sure.
It's not you when they opt out. Keep that in mind.
So again, these objectives for this campaign: save customers. We were able to retain 1,600 customers with, you know, 1,600 customers get those 2 calendar promotions per month.
Would that make a difference for you guys if you were able to retain 1,600 people, right? Big difference.
I'm sorry?
What percentage of your opt-out?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? Give me your email address and I'll get back to you on that. I don't have the exact number and I don't want to give you it.
Having run a company that did it for about 300 other folks, we found that when we put in that secondary page that said, is it just something else? Do you just want less? We would see about 20% go for that less, right? So if you could save 20% of the people that are trying to go, it's a really big number, yeah.
So we use SurveyMonkey to capture responses. How many of you use SurveyMonkey? Free service, very easy to use and very easy to capture that information. And we talked about the twice monthly calendar promo. Oh, yeah.
That's good. So we've got like maybe 3 more minutes.
I know.
We wanted to give you one last thing, and that is the future of where design and email is going. Who has heard of responsive design? Right? Who checks email on a phone? If you check email on a phone, you want to know what responsive design is, right? So emails are set up to be big and wide and look good on a computer, and that's what they are. But the problem is devices are getting skinnier. And so how do you do responsive design? The idea would be that the email will work on both. And so in our own marketing mails, and we've got a white paper that I'll give you guys a URL to, you can download, we've built all of our templates so that they can be very responsive to the environment that the user's in right now, which turns into much higher open rates, much higher click-through rates. And in fact, we've taken it kind of the next level using that technology to do real time. You can see that we've actually got 4 versions of our own newsletter. One that's for our general audience, so prospects, people that we don't know are customers, and one that we know are customers, and this content in the middle here is the one that changes, right? This one, for example, in this copy says, we made Inc. 500. We're number 71. We're the 71 largest or fastest growing private company in the country. Buy from us. Whereas this one just says, hey, learn about somebody who works for us. A lot softer sell, get to know us. And then we've got not just the desktop, but also the skinny version that works on a phone. And this is literally the future of email. That URL, if you just go to liveintent.com, it's scrolling across the top right now. Download that white paper. It's really good. It's really long. It's super HTML technical. Give it to somebody who knows HTML. And then lastly, a couple resources that we can share with you. I know you guys use Litmus.
Yeah.
We use it. Do you want to say anything about it?
Sure, Litmus is great. They have subscriptions from, you know, I think we pay $99 a month. And what it does is it allows us to, in, you know, less than 60 seconds, preview our emails across all platforms, mobile included. So yeah, if you want more information, please ask me after the session.
Yeah, you send them an email and they give you a screenshot of what it looks like in Safari, in Gmail, or on a phone in Outlook. It's really cool.
They also run it through 3 external spam filters. I know Ragan integrates with Litmus, right?
Yes, they run it through 3 external spam filters, like Kim said.
Broken links, broken images.
Yeah, Litmus is awesome. And then on our website, you could find that Da Vinci Code of Email PDF. There's also a video on machine learning that's really good. It's our CEO, and he does it. It's kind of fun to watch. That just talks about kind of where we're going with big data and what machine learning really means. Marketing Sherpa, if you're not subscribed to their emails, get on their emails. It's probably the best marketing information I've been able to find. I've been in the industry for a long time. And then Ann Holland, who actually founded Marketing Sherpa, consummate entrepreneur couldn't sit around, went and started Which Test Won. So it's your own version of our little Which One Won, AB. Really valuable, and they'll send you a test every week, so you don't have to go find it anymore. MailChimp's a really great ASP. There's a ton out there. I point them out not because I want you to go buy MailChimp, although I'm sure they'd be okay with that if you did, but their resources section is probably one of the best that's out there for small businesses. They've got a really good, I think Constant Contact also has a really good small business focus. So I'd go spend some time with there. I just like MailChimps. They design things really well, look good. And then Unbounce is really around landing pages, but they also have a ton of email resources as well. And so those are really good tools that you guys should take away from this, hopefully.
Or, you know, if you are looking for the free route, just good old-fashioned testing on grabbing your iPad, grabbing your mobile phone, getting everyone in the office, you know, to divvying up the browsers. That's what we did, you know, 2.5 years ago. Hey, do you still have Internet Explorer? Which, you know, no one really has Internet Explorer right now, or in our office anyway. So that was a struggle to find somebody with IE, but testing it, you know, across all browsers. So there's a good old-fashioned free way too.
Bob Putnam at Hotels.com, before he sold it to Expedia, used to make sure that everybody had really old computers so that everybody's email would look good. I mean, literally, that was his testing. He was like, no, we're not getting a new computer. I need to make sure the emails look good for the real people out there. Yeah, it was great.
So that's it. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? I think we're just right on time, right? Oh, we're 3 minutes over. Questions? All right, thank you. Well, we'll be here, so feel free to come talk to us. Thank you so much. Thank you.